Chapter 38. A blind alley hosted the part of the fair dedicated to kitchenware. Laser knives, ovens, griddles, sous vide cookers. The stalls shone with chrome and polished steel. It was a kitchen geek's dream. Ray idled up to an extensive set of apparatus she'd not seen before and peered at it quizzically. "It's the Humane Post-Animal Production Unit, Mark IV," said a man to her left. "Come again?" "We call it the Humane Post-Animal Production Unit, Mark IV. The man was short and pleasantly chubby. His mustard waistcoat blared out from under his tweed jacket. "It produces enviro-swine." "Oh? Oh, yes. You'll have eaten it 1,000 times. Standard synth meat. Fundamental problem with synth meat, though, is the time it takes to produce. You see, the most successful tissue culture production lines use muscle-derived stem cells grown on an embryonic cell isolated from piglets conceived in laboratories. Don't worry, I won't go into too much detail, it's all very technical. The upshot is that it's a delicate process. It takes at best months to grow a kilo of standard enviro swine. Now, you see these packets here?" He walked over to a stack of small, plain cardboard boxes. "This," he picked one up, "is common organic waste. Leftovers, vegetable matter, eggshells, you name it, all in various states of decomposition. We've basically dried it and powdered it." So he took a box and walked over to the Humane Post-Animal Production Unit Mark IV. "All I do is insert it in here." He slotted the box into a convenient opening in the machine. "And activate the unit." He gave his eyeline a few taps, and a loud sucking sound indicated that the contents of the box were being extracted. He showed her a simple interface on his eyeline. "And you see here, if I just change the settings to, let's say, Gloucestershire Old Spot. And shall we have it smoked a little? Yes, why not? Let's tick that option as well. Okay, so you can see I've started my stopwatch. Now look down here." He squatted to show Ray part of the machine. A glass cube that sat at the base. First, you'll see the neural scaffolding splicing through the plasma. Yep, here it comes. This takes weeks in the lab. Now, the proteins start binding in, and you'll see the muscle and fat production begin in earnest. Look at that, quick, isn't it? And last of all, we shoot a few pulses through it to check integrity, and there was a hiss as the glass cube lifted. There we go. Finished. 5 kilos of enviro swine in, let's see, 52 seconds. Under a minute. Not bad, huh? Ray stared at the pale, fleshy cube before her. It had a pulse. "Now, how did we do it, you're probably wondering," the man continued. "Well, it's all very technical, but the real innovation here is that instead of just genealogically linking back to farm animals, we simultaneously link laterally to in vitro meat cultivated from goldfish and toad cells that we keep alive with a serum derived from a host of other animals, predominantly, though not exclusively, mammalian." Ray felt queasy. "That's what gives it the porky flavoured. Yeah, you mustn't use too much fish or lizard." The fleshy lump simultaneously fascinated and horrified Ray. "Can I have a closer look?" "Be my guest." Hesitantly, she squatted down next to it. As she bent over the cube of pulsing flesh, her animal instincts came alive. Feeling a bit silly, she dismissed the rise in her adrenaline and heartbeat. Now, a lot of synth meat manufacturers only think in units sold, but at Humane Post Animal Production Limited, we've not only invested our time and money into this baby, he patted the machine, we've invested ourselves. Literally. We like to see our work here as a kind of semi-living sculpture, if that doesn't sound too pretentious. The representative kept on with his spiel, but Ray wasn't listening. A gristly-looking lump distending out from the rear of the enviro swine had caught her attention. With every pulse, the lump grew a little larger, until it was more or less the size of and shape of a fist. In fact, it looked very much like a fist. What?" Ray said, but fell silent as the first finger popped out of the fist. And then a ring finger, a middle finger, an index finger, and with one final flick shot out a thumb, cloven to the joint. The hand, now protruding from the rear of the 5 kilos of synth meat, slowly and deliberately turned itself over to reveal its palm, occupied by 2 full red lips. Ray gawped in horror. It spoke one word. "Run." Ray didn't need any further persuasion. She sprang to her feet and staggered away from the lips, the thumb, the meat, the machine, and the confused-looking rep. She didn't need this. Enough was enough. Outside the alley, the street was busy. Ray pushed through the crowd, shaking her head in denial. This wasn't happening. It was too much. Too weird. Too fucked up. She must be dreaming. A total fucking nightmare. "I need to get out of here," she thought, barging her way past a big biker dude who'd planted his face in a steak sandwich. He dropped it to the floor as she knocked into him, and he shouted after her. Ray half looked behind, raised an apologetic hand, then, turning around again, bowled straight into 2 other people. "Oh, shit, I'm so sorry." Home. She had to get home. Get in bed, pull the covers up, bag of crisps, chocolate, and some telly. A lot of telly. She didn't have to be at work tomorrow, or any time soon, come to think about it. It was time to commit to some serious viewing, episode after episode, season after season, the occasional trip to the loo and the refilling of snacks, but otherwise it was bed and chocolate, and delegating all responsibility to the autoplay function. Ray was about to check the map on her eyeline to find her way to the car stack when it started ringing with a voice call. Unknown number. She answered, and a female voice asked to speak to Ray Corridon. "Yes, speaking," she replied. "Hello, Miss Corridon. I'm calling from Datavator. Do you have a few moments to answer some questions?" How irritating. Ray hadn't had a call like this for years. She paid to keep her number off these kinds of lists. Bloody broken eyeline. Well, actually, I was hoping to ask you about your viewing habits. What sort of programs you watch. That kind of thing. Oh. Ray clapped her hand over her mouth to stop herself saying anything. It was Perdita. She'd forgotten that she'd given Perdita her number so that she could survey her. Ray took the cue and played along. "Yes," she cleared her throat. "Sure. Now's as good a time as any." "Oh, great, Miss Corridon. I do appreciate it. My name is Fiona, and I promise to keep things brief. Won't take up too much of your time. Oh, sure, Fiona. What do you need to know? First off, are you watching TV at the moment? No, I'm not. I'm out in town, St. Luke's. There's a food fair on. Should I go somewhere quieter to talk? No need, Miss Corridon. You stay in the crowd and browse as much as you want, as long as we can hear each other. Okay. Of the 3 following genres, which is your favourite? Costume dramas, horror, or spy thrillers? Ray thought for a moment. Spy thrillers, I suppose? Excellent choice. First, a few questions about common tropes of the genre. How do protagonists usually detect a malevolent agent following them? They check carefully behind, maybe using the reflections in shop windows or something. Ray wandered over to a shop window, painfully self-conscious of her every step. She examined the street behind her in what she hoped was a nonchalant manner. And how does the protagonist usually recognise the malevolent agent? Perdita asked. They always seem suspicious, out of place. Ray scanned the reflection of the street. There were all sorts of people bustling about the stalls, an old lady carrying shopping bags, children eating from open packets, market stall workers busy in their aprons, filling bags, chatting to customers, a couple walking arm in arm together, slowly browsing the selection of cured meats hanging in a shop window. Ray studied the pair. She'd seen them before somewhere. There was something odd about them. Perhaps it was the solemnity with which they inspected the goods, or the way they had their arms linked. The woman didn't look that comfortable with the guy. Then, for the briefest moment, their eyes met in the reflection, and Ray knew. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. And she was back in the metastasis suite, and the others, oh, God, they sliced the others open, and rivers of blood and death, staring and smiling, and now they were coming for her, and this was where she was going to die. Perdita! Ray clenched her eyes and concentrated on talking, unable to maintain the pretense any longer. Perdita, what should I do? Okay, Ray, try to stay calm. I'm here. Listen to me. Ray chanced another glance behind her. Fuck! They're still there. They're coming over. Should I run? No point. They'll have a team. Drones, field agents, infrastructural shepherding. If they have eyes on you, it means you were cornered some time ago. But can't you help? Not right now, Ray, no. I'm sorry. Oh. Ray thought she was going to faint. Okay. So, her voice faded. The couple had detached themselves from the crowd and were marching towards her. You'll be taken in a moment, Ray. They'll end this call. The woman crossed the street, eyes locked on Ray, smiling affectionately. But I'm with you now. The woman threw a hand in the air and waved at Ray like an old acquaintance. Whatever happens, I promise you, we will find you. Light comes from the east. It will shine on you too. And Perdita was gone. A heartbeat of white noise and the line was dead. Dazed with fear, Ray stared at the woman now upon her. Hi, Ray. Great to see you. Long time no see. An arm looped through hers, a hand placed firmly over her wrist. Let's grab a coffee. You look great. Love the jacket. Drawn along the main thoroughfare and down a side street, pulled along with the woman's pace. Other footsteps behind, out of sync, heavier. A sense of inevitability, like déjà vu. A question. Why? Why me?